Hey everybody, welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Ray Goots, and joining me for a while, unfortunately I trapped him for a little bit, is my temporary new co-host, Kyle Lewis. Kyle, welcome to the show for a while. How does it feel? How does it feel?
What's going on, Ray? What's going on, everybody? It feels good. I saw a little bit of 1997, got that nostalgia, and had to come right on back for part of the summer of 97. And boy, am I excited to see the WWE
Uh,
and their growing pains.
every now and then you would come in for the occasional horrible WCW show. You would never show up for like a really great WCW show. It would always be where Hulk Hogan's in a monster truck running around the roof of a building. And then I was like, Kyle, you need to come for this. So, you missed out a lot of great pay-per-views. And you still haven't found a great pay-per-view because I thought the last two matches, we'll get into it as we talk about everything. I thought the last two matches were good, but and I remember not liking and not hitting this show when I first saw it 25 years ago. But watching it now in 2025, it's just like, my God, like we will never escape Triple H. We will never, ever, ever get away from this guy. Because I think when I saw the show in 1998, I was like, okay, they're going to try a little with this guy. They're going to realize he's not it, and they're going to move on. And not only do they not move on, but this guy has taken over the company and has positioned himself as the most important person since Jesus. And I don't understand how I want to get. I want to be rid of Triple H in my life. How do you feel?
Well, if you want to be rid of Triple H, that's not gonna happen. Starting from here on, this is his rise. This is the moment that slowly starts his rise to then becoming the cerebral assassin game, the becoming quote reign of terror end quote, and then we get all the way up to where we are now. If it was not for this one and this change in character, well, he's still like blue bloodish here. Um, that we wouldn't have had that. Also, on the other side, is a great turn for Mankind, which we'll get into. But this is it. If you don't like Triple H from at all, don't want to hear about his rise, I don't want to tell you to stop watching. Watch the WCW ones. I guess I don't know.
Oh my God. Yeah, man. There's a narrative out there that WWF in '97 had the better show than WCW, and I never watched this. You always think you have time. By the way, I'm never gonna be able to do this now ever in my life. I never sat down and watched the '97 Raws, and I meant to. I meant to. My whole life, I meant to, and I never did. And maybe the Raws are good, but I'll tell you, based on the pay-per-views, WCW still in June of '97 has a superior product. Right now, WWF is going through a lot of growing pains, but they had to go through the growing pains because this crew they have and the storylines they're setting up, in particular, the storyline set up during Undertaker and Farouk, are going to lead them to the billion-dollar company they are now, the greedy billion dollar scumbags they are now. Uh, Kicks off with the Undertaker Farouk match.
You're absolutely right. And who would have thought this match between the Undertaker, Farouk, and Ahmed Johnson would set the and with Ahmed Johnson coming out at the end, spoiler, would catapult, would be the catalyst for, like you just said, what happens in the next year, 2 years, and now to come. This pay-per-view is pretty symbolic for that. You get Triple H, and then you get what's gonna happen with Ahmed Johnson and the Nation of Domination. So a lot of
Mm-hmm.
planted seeds, which we did not. We're now all putting together. Now we got to get the whiteboard out, the Charlie It's Always Sunny whiteboard,
Mm.
connect everything.
This is what I would say to AEW or something. Yeah, I guess AEW because WWF. By the way, this type of planning is out the door in WWF. Like they are now all about moments. So the thing I like about '97 WWE WWF is they kind of just stay the course of the storylines, and because they stay the course, by the time they explode, which the Undertaker Paul Bearer stuff that we're seeing explodes at WrestleMania, right? But now I feel like they're more about moments. So I feel like now if they did Undertaker Kane, Kane would show up tomorrow, the next night on Raw, and then Undertaker Kane would happen at Canadian Stampede. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they would just rush it. But I would say to AEW, like even though the ratings right now are in the toilet, we know, but according to Dave Meltzer, 5 billion people have watched on Max. But even though the ratings are in the toilet, like start a storyline and go with it. They kind of did that with Death Riders. Everybody was like, the Death Rider stinks, and then I guess it paid off in a big way. But do that with like all up and down the card, because I think that's the way to do it. Just stick with the storylines that you believe in, and when they pay off, everyone's going to be watching.
Yeah, I think they're trying. I think that's one thing I think everyone can agree on AEW is their storylines. They are more story driven this year. They're trying more things connect, whether you like them or you don't like them. That's a different story. But they're trying to connect and have more matches that have storylines to them. The Cope Christian FTR stuff, which they're not fighting at the pay per view, which I guess they're doing what you said they're gonna do. They're letting that build to their real big pay per view all in instead of
Mm-hmm.
doing it at Forbidden Doors. They got that one. Adam Page, MJF, they got that one. They got Tony Storm, Athena, Mercedes still kind of lurking in the back. So they got stuff going and they have that show this weekend. So it's not very forbidden, but hopefully it'll be a good show. And I assume it'll be better than Heat Wave. Sorry, NXT. It's just NXT is like in zombie mode again, like it's 2021. So I don't really know what's going on
It's
there.
is Joe Hendry on Heat Wave? I haven't been watching.
Not yet, or he might be in the. No, he's not yet. He showed up last night. He came out of like a crate. They said his name or something. And the thing is annoying me about Joe Hendry on screen, at least on NXT TV. Why are you doing this? Didn't you just lose like the TNA title like 2 months ago? And you're
Mm-hmm.
messing around with Dark State doing the Joe Hendry thing. Don't you want your belt back for the company? Like, what are you making jokes for?
Well, because I think WWE wants to turn him into their Santino Marella on the main roster. Here's my prediction: a year from now, Mr. Iguana and Joe Hendry are a tag team on SmackDown or Raw or something.
Oh, it's
Like
happening.
they're
Maybe even
Santino
sooner.
Kozlov. Yeah. So I think the ace of TNA that they see the ace being, I think is Santana right now. Is Steve Macklin still there? Well, that's like,
Yeah, he's just having feuds. I
you know
don't
who
know.
should go back
It's
to
not
TNA? Deanna
who.
Purrazzo. She, man, when she was there, they really made her matter, and now she does not.
Yeah. I think if everything works out for TNA TV deal wise, whether they're aligned with WWE or not, you will see people leave AEW and leave WWE, whether it's on their accord or not, and go to TNA and kind of build that back up, especially if they're getting money sent their way and things like that, because they have a good roster already, a pretty solid roster, but there's nothing wrong with being number three. I don't think these rumors of them ever becoming number two are going to materialize. I think those days of TNA as number two are over, unless AEW messes up drastically.
I,
But it's going to be a
I
good
have a way
third
they could become.
option.
I have a way they could become number two. No one's gonna like it though. You want to know my if I wanted them to become number two? You know what my plan would be?
What would be your plan?
No one's gonna like it. First, okay, you put them on Wednesdays against Dynamite. It's live every week, and you change the name to WCW, and you call the show WCW Nitro.
Oh no, we can't do that.
That would be my.
Oh my god.
Lends them the WCW name for a fee, because they basically, if you go back, and this is what I would say if I was in charge of TNA, we basically were WCW 2000 for the first 6 years. Like, let's fucking be real. We were not like our own company. We were a continuation of Vince Russo. So we were always WCW. Um, I would, I would call it WCW Nitro, and I think then people would be invested.
They would definitely tune in for the nostalgia. Maybe Eric Bischoff would come back.
I would actually have Eric Bischoff on commentary. I wouldn't have him be a GM or something. He's not bad on commentary in WCW. He's not as bad as people say he is. But yeah, well, no, but Mongo McMichael's dead. All right, so Eric,
Yeah, I mean, most of the commentary team, I think, is half of it is no longer
yeah.
with us.
Well, if Jim Ross doesn't resign, put him on Nitro. By God, I'm back on Nitro. By God.
Let's do
But
it.
man, yeah, I don't know. It's just it's just like a when I watch like this show, there was just a black cloud over it for me because I just feel like Triple H is the type of guy, like if he could, he would walk out and be like, "Great news, WWE Universe. We always put you first, and because we put you first, we've signed a deal with Amazon that every pay-per-view is going to be $100 from now on. Where you're going to see bigger and better matches, but also ads." Like I just feel like he would like they're gonna do whatever they can to get, and they're gonna make it sound like they're doing us a favor. Like I just shot your mom, WWE fan. Aren't you proud? Aren't you
I
proud to
that
be part of our universe?
that is one of the things that really frustrated me because on Raw they announced Naomi's pregnancy, but before they announced the pregnancy, they were like, "Oh, I wonder what the news is gonna be. Here's this clip of Stephanie McMahon's podcast, so make sure to listen to it like right away." I'm just like, can we have the fucking announcement first before you shill the podcast? I'll
So,
go to the podcast, but like let the thing marinate. You guys plug the podcast first, and then I already know what the announcement is. She's not gonna be like, "Hey, we're going to Saudi Arabia." She has obviously you know what it is now, and then she announces it with the clip of the podcast. She didn't even say it. You got to show the clip of the podcast first, and then she
oh, that was
announces it, and then
stupid.
it's more podcasts, and then you're just like, God, everything is just clicks and money, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, it's
And
annoying.
and it always was like that. Like, like they'll like have like WWE shop commercials even at 97, but it wasn't as over the top as it is
Yes,
now.
that's what it is. Yeah. Look, they
Mhm.
were never my friend. They always wanted my money and they always will want my money. They don't care about me. They care about my wallet. But like it's just like everything is like that. It's like, oh, right into the Slim Jim turnbuckle on the ground on the Fatal Fury table, all this other like it's just over the top, dude. Just way over the top. I hope they're getting a lot of money and you can not fire people, but then you're still gonna fire people. So
I mean, they're gonna. I mean, I kind of think Carrying Cross deserves it, but
yeah,
dude,
he
Carrying
tried,
Cross.
man. He tried. His career's
Uh,
not over, but whatever.
I mean, I don't see AEW being interested in him based on the fans' reaction. I think they should. I would if I was Tony Khan. I mean, you're just giving away contracts anyway, so might as well give him one. Um, but I don't see where he's going. And also, I performed at the Long Beach Horror Convention, Midsummer's Night Scream, and Scarlett and Shotzi had a section, and they gave them a very big section compared to they had a section the size of Elvira, and Elvira had a massive line, right?
I
So
can imagine.
Shotzi and what's her name, Scarlett had a big area. I mean, they made a maze so people could line up, and there was always maybe just one or two guys there the whole day. I never saw a line for them. So I don't think Karen Cross and Scarlett are as popular as they say they are. Um, I don't know. I think a lot of it is him making it up. I don't think he's that popular. I don't think most people give a shit. I think it's over for him. You know?
I think he may have gotten like Morbius too, where like everyone was like, "Yeah, we really like you," and then when it came time to do it, nobody, not nobody, but people were not as invested. I think, I don't know, maybe Japan would be a good fit for him. The big
Maybe
guy, yeah, Scarlett's,
be that
there's a cool
Uganda.
little cult group. Join
The
the House
Uganda.
of Torture. UConn. Hey, why not? I think he'll have to just keep making himself viral moments, and I guess show it in the ring too. Because I know a lot of people. Every time somebody gets over on character, they want to all of a sudden become ring work experts. They do it with Jey Uso all the time now. So I guess a combination of that, and we'll see where he'll end up. He's not old, so he's got places he can be.
I
Also, I
know.
hear him and Don Callis are not friends, so he won't be in AEW due to some
Well,
alleged
that's
things
all right.
between Don Callis and Scarlett.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff there, but hey,
Yeah.
we don't talk about that because everyone in AEW is a sweet innocent snowflake. So Don Callis, once he signed with AEW and started managing Takesha and Kyle Fletcher, he was innocent of all those charges. Come on, you know that. No one that works for Tony Khan is a bad person. All right.
I'm not getting involved in that. Let's go back to 1997.
Yeah, but fuck Don Callis. Uh, shit, I wanted to say something else about. Oh, you know the whole thing, like the reason, like a lot of people say, like the reason why also like the seemingly Twitter is all a buzz about Karrion Cross. He was one of Sean Ross Sapp's sources for gossip.
Oh,
So
interesting.
that's why Sean Ross Sapp kind of goes on and on and on. Like he was post. I mean, if you look, Sean Ross Sapp was posting about this guy like he was, the Palestine peace treaty or something. Um, whereas like, Cedric Alexander is like, I don't know what happened to that guy. Oh yeah, I guess he got fired. Anyway, he like, like it's more like, oh boy, can you believe they're firing Karen Crow? Anyway.
That's a
Um,
whole other thing. I have nothing against Sap. I feel like we need to do just the Naomi thing is a great example. We need to just be fucking better. Everything is clicks. No one knew what happened. They just knew she was off TV for the week, and you would have thought she died with the amount of theories and speculation and just things that the dirt sheets and I guess Fightful's not a dirt sheet. They don't like being called a dirt sheet, but and all the other accounts were speculating from fan accounts to wrestling news accounts, and it's just like, dude, can we let something breathe? We'll
yeah,
find out. We'll
it's like
find out.
it's like it's the same thing with Hulk Hogan dying. Like Bubba loves Splooge. He kind of put it out there, like, and like was demanding that Nick Hogan and them tell everyone. And I know, and however you feel about Hulk Hogan, I know you love him, but
Yeah,
it's the kid's rights. It's or the kid with Nick Hogan, I guess Brooke. It's the family's right to be like, yeah, he's fine, don't worry about it, and then handle it privately. The same thing, like clearly if Naomi's off Raw and WWE's like it's something major, she either had a career-ending injury or she is pregnant. Like what is the third option? So like let her announce it. And also like let's just say like Scarlett or some call Sean Ross Sapp or Dave Meltzer and was like, yeah, she's pregnant. It like you don't have the right, I feel, to put that out there. Like I feel like they would have put it out there if
yeah,
someone tipped them ahead of time. We kind of all knew she was pregnant, but it's her fucking business to be like, hey, I'm pregnant, you know?
yeah. I agree. I agree. I think, and we've seen it with other things. Where just there's a news story or something happens, and they're just not. That's the only thing they care about, and they got to make their money too, I guess. But like. It happens with that. It happens with surprises. And they're like, how come there's no surprises in the Royal Rumble anymore? You told us who's backstage. And
I
I'm not,
remember,
and I don't even pay the $5. I don't pay the. I don't want to make this attack on Fightful because I don't dislike them, but we don't pay like you like it just comes out and you can't get away from it, and it's really it's really frustrating.
well, I remember the night of Survivor Series 2023, the dirt sheets or the reporters were like, he is definitely not back. Everyone has told us he's not back. You're talking about CM Punk.
Yeah,
Definitely not back. And they would get mad if people were like, no, they're coming back. I remember that like people like these and some people were even like, I don't know why these fans are shooting CM Punk. It's not gonna happen, right? And my friend said, everyone's pretty confident he's not coming back. And I'm like, can I be honest with you? If you did have CM Punk re-signed, why would you even give a hint that you re-signed him? Why would you not make sure that all these guys think there's not a chance in like I would rather kill myself than re-sign CM Punk because the more you have doubt in people's minds, the bigger that pop's gonna be.
yeah,
And my friend's like, really? I'm like, you think Triple H could be like, oh yeah, I'm kind of talking to him, but I don't know. You know what I mean? No, they're gonna make it sound like especially if it's a done deal. Like I know, see, and of course he came out and everyone had to backtrack. They're like, well, and it's like, but it's almost like they were like mad that they didn't get a hint of it. But it's almost like when you have a surprise that good, why would you give anyone a hint about it? Why?
I agree. I don't
Yeah,
understand. I don't understand. We get these surprises like Punk, on a lesser extent, the Hardys, um, from like a 2017. The Brock Lesnar is another surprise, whether you like him or don't like him.
yeah.
Brock Lesnar was something that we're like, I didn't, my jaw dropped when I heard that, like, whatever that noise is. I just couldn't, yeah. I was
You,
just like, wait, what? One out of like, oh, he's back, and two, like, oh, they're actually gonna through with this. Okay.
You know
But
what I do wish one last time? Because I still say it in my head. I kind of feel like these two guys, I feel like this could have been like his bigger than his. I wish Taz was still there to say, well, here comes the pain. When that he would always say that after that little thing hit,
Yeah,
and I kind of felt like that would have been like their thing. Like that would have been like a classic call. To me, it is. But if you think
it
about it,
is.
it really happened like for 2 years. Well,
Yeah,
here comes the pain, Cole.
but you
And I
still
feel
remember it, so it's one of those things. I mean, I think I don't know how people will receive it. We may get one of those surprises again by the Rumble or something with Chris Jericho. That's another. I know we're not a Wrestling News dirt sheet, but that's the rumor
oh
of the week that Jericho may go back to WWE.
oh
So
I would let him I would if I was Tony Khan, I would let him go today. I'd be like, you show up. You know what, you can show up. I think Jericho
bye.
has done nothing for AEW, and I've thought that since
I would
2020.
say nothing, but
Oh, he's got no one over. I'll tell you when I realized he's getting no one over. Remember Pineapple Pete?
yes,
Pineapple Pete during the pandemic was getting over in the crowd, and I do think at that point they could have made Pineapple Pete their 1 2 3 kid or their Santino Morella, and
yeah.
he was getting over it, and they finally got a match. And I remember everyone being excited for this match. Everyone on the like all the fucking Twitter accounts were like, "Oh my god, I'm so excited! Jericho Pineapple Pete got a match." And Jericho just squashes him, and that's it. And that was when I was like, you know what? Like, even like I remember Jericho's, I'm gonna make Action Andretti. Where is Action Andretti now? I don't even know if he's still alive. Like,
He's in that top flight vortex still of everyone who kind of looks the same.
yeah, and it's I just feel like he hasn't done a lot for people. Maybe at the beginning he did, but that ship has sailed. And I think it's a positive for him to be let go, and I would let him go today. There's some people that are just like I'll tell you another one who was just dragging the company, Sean Spears. Like you didn't need him in AEW. There's people you just don't need. You don't need everyone.
No.
And Jericho's definitely one of them. And I don't think they'll miss a beat. And to be honest with you, I'd rather see Karrion Cross there than Jericho. So, you know,
I think Jericho did what he was supposed to do. He got some extra eyes on AEW.
yeah,
Where
at the start he was good. Yes.
yes, he got some extra eyes. He made some moments with them, mostly about himself. But I guess he helped get MJF over. You gotta give him that. But he got some people over, which is debatable. And he was there for the first 6 years. And I think a nostalgia run in the WWE, especially if he keeps like his whatever he's Ozempic shape that he has and not the fat Jericho. If he can hold that build, I think maybe a WrestleMania run or even up to a SummerSlam run or whatever
I
would
mean,
be good for him.
I would let him go today. I would let him go. I don't. There's nothing they could do with Jericho. I think that would hurt AEW. I really don't. Like, Jericho could come out and say Tony Khan sucks penis, sucks cock, on SmackDown. They can start off SmackDown with that, and it's not going to affect. I'm telling you, it's not going to affect AEW. That will be help AEW. Also, I will say I don't like Jericho anymore, but I do think him and Cena one last time would be really fun. So they should let him go do that.
I mean, if his contract is up in December and John Cena, I don't want
No,
it to be
let him go
John
today.
Cena's last match, but I don't think he's
Let
going today.
No, Tony Khan can do what he wants. He's Tony Khan. Be like, you know what? You should go to SmackDown. I
Well,
really
they did do it with Paige. I think Paige had like an extra few months left, and they were like, "Nah, you can leave now."
no. They should let Jericho and Danhausen
Soraya.
both go. Both. You don't need them. I'm telling you. You
Yeah, that
don't need
sucks
them
for
fans over there.
Danhausen. Danhausen, yeah, got his contract taking the injury time, even though he's not doing anything, hasn't done anything for years. But hey,
I know.
make some money.
Danhausen. He could have been the next Mr. Iguana.
I mean, I think whenever he's done, they're gonna try and put him on. He's Punk's friend, so I can see Punk getting him a job in NXT or something.
I just think at this point, um, I think with Danhausen, this is gonna suck, but oh, that was where the AEW Blue Sky fan, because they're like, that's what you get for messing with Tony Khan, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm a fan of the wrestlers. I'm a fan of the workers. I'm not a fan of a billionaire, and I'm not a fan of a company. And Danhausen got injured at AEW, and if he wants to go like get his contract is up, he wants to go do something else, I think Tony Khan should let him. Like I'm not like this whole like rah 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 like you're like Tony Khan's like under like you like a lot of wrestling fans both for WWE and ECW have this like underling tone to the
Hmm.
company they're a fan of. I'm not. No, I'm a fan of these guys first. I want like a true ECW or a true AWA or World Class to rise up, like a true third company. I'm a fan of all of the guys. I am not a fan of initials. And the way they were talking about Danhausen and that's what you get for messing with Tony Khan. Like, bro, you don't work there, all right? You know what I mean? You don't work there. Like,
No,
Danhausen doesn't need to be taught a lesson. Like, let him fucking go.
there's
Like
a
use
weird
that money.
tribalism.
What?
No, it's just a weird tribalism all around on
No,
all fronts. And when WWE does it too, I don't like it. Like if you
I don't
freeze
like
a
it either.
contract, like just if you're not gonna use the person, just let the person go. Like you said, the money can go elsewhere.
Yeah,
But mm,
yeah. The money can go towards ESPN deals, which are important.
yeah, more
All
ads,
right,
more Slim Jim.
let's review the show. Let's review the show. So, the commentators tonight are Jim Ross and Vince McMahon. Now, I don't know if you noticed this because you have been watching the pay-per-views in order. Did you notice that Jim Ross was really talking a lot about history outside WWE on this show? Did you notice that?
I did notice that. I felt that this was the start of their like attitude era. Well, attitude era has different starts for different people, but they were starting to loosen the reins, at least in terms of commentary. And I know he mentioned like Dustin Rhodes, he mentioned Bill Watts, he did a bunch of different things. But that was definitely
I did
very
not
noticeable.
see that he talked about everyone's. The one thing I don't like about this guy, and I used to like it as a kid, and someone brought it up. I think Bruce Pritchard or somebody brought up this. He goes on and on about how great they did in college, like in football or whatever. He does this with every fucking guy. I mean, I think the reason he doesn't like Triple H didn't like play football. But he goes on, and it's like, Jim, if this guy was so good at college football, he'd be in the NFL. But he clearly was a failure at it, which is why he's in gold paint wrestling at the King of the Ring 1997. So like, stop going on and on about what they did in college because it
the
didn't
one
work.
that the one that threw me off is when you start talking about Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels' parents, and I was just like, "What? What's the point?"
Yeah,
Just like,
this is the show I realized Shawn Michaels' dad is like an Air Force
yeah,
pilot.
yeah,
I
I
never
guess so.
and I because this is one of the first pay-per-views I read. So I was out of wrestling until 1998, and then I got back in and I rented this show, and I remember being like, Shawn Michaels' dad is an Air Force pilot, and I'm like, but what is that? I feel like he thinks that like gives him credentials. Like, what did Shawn Michaels take the chi from his Air Force dad to like power? You know?
What do you mean his dad's not Jose Lothario? I thought that the whole time. He has a white dad. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but him and Vince, I like them. I can tell because now in hindsight, Vince is never going to do commentary ever again. Well, you never know with the Brock Lesnar thing. I would actually, I would actually prefer Vince and Jesse over their commentary over Pat McCaffrey. But anyway, um, I kind of felt like Vince is getting tired of commentating. Did you feel that way watching the show?
I felt it a little bit. I felt like he and JR, it's almost kind of like hanging out with a comic, and the comic's always trying to throw bits in. And I think
Hmm.
at some point Vince felt that way about JR because JR is just saying these things, these comments, and sometimes he was all on it, and other times he just completely ignored him. And I
Yeah,
felt like at some point he was just like, "Oh my god, shut up." And I like JR, but it was just like a lot of extra stuff for no reason.
I like JR too, and JR and Michael, and they're much better than Excalibur at giving backgrounds on all these guys. But
I got
there's
nothing against
some.
Excalibur.
What's that? What happened?
I got nothing against Excalibur either. Him and what's the guy? Ian Riccaboni. I think they're good commentators.
They're racist, but sometimes he
Maybe.
gives up. He gives out a little bit too much information, and I think he acts like it's important information. And it's like no one cares about this. Like first match. Speaking of nobody cares about is Hunter Hearst Helmsley versus Ahmed Johnson. Um, the crowd is hot for this match. They don't stay hot for most of the show.
Mm-mm.
This match was like so, but what really intrigued me was Hunter pins Ahmed Johnson in the middle of the ring. He hits the pedigree and pins him. And this is so far from what I've seen. And again, I'm not watching the Raws or the Superstars, so I don't know if it's happening over there. This is his first pretty definitive loss to a guy, and it's Hunter pinning a black guy because Hunter is a racist. Um, but you know. they they were building to another push for him at the end of the show, but more or less, this is the end of Ahmed Johnson as a top babyface. We didn't know it at the time, but this is it. Like he never really recovers, and Hunter kind of takes his heat and keeps moving. What did you think of this match? I thought this was not a good match.
No, not a really good match. I think, like you said, this was a rise of starting the rise of Triple H, pinning Ahmed Johnson gets in the eyes of WWE. It's a very big deal, especially since he didn't take a lot of singles losses. Um, yeah, everything you said, that was it for him. I feel like why would you have him just in hindsight? Why would you have him lose and then come in at the end? He already kind of looks like a weakling because he just lost to Triple H pretty definitively. But they gave up on Ahmed. I know Ahmed was hot. Survivor Series '95. It was awesome when he slammed Yokozuna and he was on this streak. Me being a young black kid, we're like, oh, finally, this is gonna be our guy, and he was not our guy. We had to wait 5 more years for 3 more years for a black world
There,
champion.
there's
But
definitely a way he could have been the guy. He could have been the guy in early '96. A year before this, he has a great match with Goldust at the
yes,
King of the Ring '96. I think the injuries. No, I think
yeah,
the injuries did more damage to him than his sloppy in ring work. I don't think Vince cared about him being sloppy. And also, I think with the right guy, which Goldust was the right guy in June '96, you can work around that, or you can like train him, on the job
yeah,
training. I just think the multiple injuries are kind of what soured Vince. And then also he had a weird attitude. Him and Farouk had beef, and in real life, like they didn't
yeah.
like each other.
There's a lot of backstage drama apparently.
Yeah, and I think that push comes to shove, Vince wants Farouk in the locker room over him. So, I like, and also in '97, this is gonna sound terrible, but I think the attitude with like Bruce Pritchard and Vince is like, okay, we have three black guys. If the fourth one's annoying, again, we have three black guys. So you can go somewhere else. You know what I'm
Yeah, I feel
saying?
like that attitude's still kind of there, but
Yeah,
it's
that
neither
attitude is
here or
still.
there. Hmm.
We have our three black guys. So you're the fourth black guy, and you're annoying, and you get injured a lot. So get out of here. Um, well, Ahmed joins the Nation tomorrow night.
Yeah,
Tomorrow, and he's supposed to fight Undertaker at the next pay per view, and then he gets injured again.
this man is
So,
just very unfortunate. Is that the one where his hand gets? Cause I remember he like finds a loose nail in the ring and he like damages his hand. I don't know if it's that injury or I don't know. He gets a lot of injuries.
and that's really when they give up. And then who takes his place in the Nation?
The
But The Rock.
Rock. Yeah.
And then that's it. All right, the next we go to the second round match. For some reason, I realized this last night. Every time they got to the King of the Ring in this era, suddenly Jerry Lawler got a push, and he was no longer a King of the King. 93, he attacks Brett. 94, he main events against Piper. 95, he has a semi main event with Bret Hart. And 96, he's in the semi main event with Ultimate Warrior. And now he's in the actual fucking tournament. There's four guys in the tournament, and he's one of them in 1997 when he's mainly a commentator. And yeah, Mankind cuts a promo. What I like about Mick Foley, Mankind, is he kind of plugs up the Paul Bearer loop by being like, Paul Bearer abandoned me. I'm supposed to become
Hmm.
the king again. And he makes himself a baby face. And then Jerry Lawler comes out, and Jerry Lawler starts cutting his 1970s promo. Uh, every time this is my thing with Jerry Lawler. I think the thing with the Hulk Hogan era, the rock and wrestling and all that was to get away from the Southern wrestling style of in-ring work and they establish a new WWE style and not to be so like Southern and regional and all this. And
Hmm.
I felt like when Jerry Lawler came into WWF, whenever he does his thing, it's a reminder of the wrestling that Vince and Hogan and Warrior and Savage and Piper were running from in that era. And we're right back into like 1979. And still to this day, with this Lawler promo on Mankind, and even the way because they work a Lawler match, they don't work a Mankind match. I know people say that Lawler is a great worker, but it reminds me of the wrestling that Vince was like running from. And it, but when he,
Yeah.
but Lawler, he just, I don't know. What do you? I didn't like this match. What do you think?
I mean, it did. I guess it did its purpose for Mankind. He maybe could have put somebody else better on the roster. I don't know who you would have put in there. Jerry Lawler is people like to boo him, so that's why he's there. I think that I remember this. We can't watch the Raws anymore, but I remember they were doing the Mankind series of interviews to get him to kind of humanize him. So I just think it was just the next step in terms of watching a Jerry Lawler match. I've rarely been interested in watching a Jerry Lawler match. I'm not talking about his 80s work, from what I've seen from 90 something to even when he would show up and fight like Trevor Murdoch or whatever on the random Raw. It's never really appealed to me. So this is the same thing. It was
I'll
just
tell
let's
you.
get Mankind there.
I'll tell you what my favorite Jerry Lawler match is, and this is also my favorite moment of CM Punk. Was I don't know if you remember this Raw. It's on Jerry Lawler's Blu-ray, I think. It's Jerry Lawler versus Miz in a TLC match,
Mm-hmm.
and CM
I
Punk.
was there for that. It was in Philly, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I
And
was there for that.
CM Punk and Michael Cole are on commentary, and Michael Cole leaves the booth to interfere in the match. And then it's just CM Punk calling the whole thing. He calls also,
Mm-hmm.
I think Michael Cole gets hurt. So then Punk has to call like the finish. And Punk really, and I've never seen anyone do a better job of this. He gets over Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler as threats, and he completely diminishes himself. And this is like 5 months for the pipe bomb, and he puts over the mid. He gets over everybody. He gets over Michael Cole as like a heel. Like he gets over everybody. He doesn't make it about himself. And I'm like, wow, I've never seen a top guy do that, where he's in a position where the announcers are now in the ring. He's got to be the commentator, and he's willingly he's putting everyone over. So that's my favorite Jerry Lawler match. That's also my favorite CM Punk match because that's not match, but moment, because that's when you realize you can put this guy in any role and he knows how to make it work, including commentating on Michael Cole versus Jerry Lawler in 2010. You know?
Yeah. No, I mean I was there live, so I don't really remember the commentary for it.
Mhm.
I remember the thing that always sticks out with Jerry Lawler, and it's actually was a good lesson for me to like deal with. I was in a fraternity in college, and my little brother in the fraternity was watching wrestling with me. He's an old school fan, and then like one of those lapsed fans. Shout out to them. But like it was peak 2007 Triple H, and I was completely internet snarky the entire time. And he loved everything that he saw. He was that fan that they like. This is the person they want the money from. So he was
Mhm.
actually like, "Yes, Jerry Lawler's wrestling," and I could not believe. I thought he was joking. He was genuinely excited for a Jerry Lawler match, and I was just like, "Man, he's the happiest person here." Like I need to reevaluate the way I think about wrestling because I'm watching this and I'm miserable. And he's happy that Jerry Lawler is fighting Trevor Murdoch and that Triple H is fighting the Great Khali and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, oh yeah, Jerry Lawler did fight the Great Khali. Damn.
Whatever matches they were doing at that time.
Next up on the show, this was a fun segment. This was fun. Ah, man, imagine if Pillman made it to the 1998 to the Austin McMahon angle. How much fun
Yeah,
it would have been. So, although I do kind of feel like he would have demanded to go to WCW with Bret Hart. I really, when the screw job happened, I don't think Brian Pillman would have sat around for that shit. Um, so Todd's interviewing Brian Pillman. He's got an Austin 316 shirt, but he has the 316 marked out, and it's the date of their match, which would be tomorrow night on Raw. They it's so funny in this era, like you're paying $30 and so much is to hype up the next night. But man, they were dying to beat Nitro. They were like, you know what? We got your money. We need to tell your friends to watch tomorrow night for free. Um, but
they still do that.
yeah, that's true. Todd Pettigill's interviewing Pillman. Austin attacks him from behind, and then Austin, I think one of the funniest moments of the show, he drags Brian Pillman to the toilet and gives him a swirly. And he just tells him, "You've always sucked. You suck, and you've always sucked, Brian," and leaves him there. The Hollywood blonde still exploding. I enjoyed this segment. This is classic Austin for me.
It was great. It was great. You got two people who know each other well, know their characters well. History, especially if you don't watch WCW, you know their history from a year ago. If you do watch WCW, you know their history as one of the greatest short run tag teams I've ever seen. I feel it's unfortunate that both in WCW and WWE, there was never a big payoff or feud between the two. I know WCW maybe had like a couple of matches that kind of just came and went. In WWE, I
Mm,
think they have this one match, and of course, we know why there was no further matches between the two. But it would have been a great feud if Pillman was still with us. Maybe we would not have gotten Dude Love. Maybe we would have gotten after Austin won the title. Maybe Pillman's with the McMahons. Maybe Pillman is the Stone Cold on the corporate side. We could have. There could have been a lot of things. Maybe they're on the same page. There's a lot of what ifs that could have happened with those two, but the moments we did get with them, it's good. It was good to see.
they would have been a much when Austin turns heel. It would have been a lot better for him and Pillman to team up than him and Triple H. Like that would have made
This
like,
is the Triple H smear episode.
oh god,
I
dude.
like the power trip. I thought it was a good idea. Then he got
Uh,
hurt.
Triple H. All right.
He
Speaking of things,
definitely would have been the king of the invasion. He would have. Kurt Angle would not have been. Kurt Angle would have been on Heat, and
oh, it
Triple
would
H would have been the guy to take out everyone in WCW.
Triple H would have if Triple H didn't break his quad, he would have pinned Booker T by July of 2001. And he would have had the WCW belt within like a week of Booker T getting there. He probably would have
Immediately.
got he probably would have pinned they would have somehow the National Hall would have got there by like September and he would have pinned them too. He just would have everyone would have gotten pinned. DDP would have gotten pinned. Sean O'Hare, just to be safe, would have gotten pinned. Mike Awesome in 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Mike Awesome would have a few
Mike
minutes.
also would have been destroyed.
I mean, he would have, and then RVD would have got pinned faster. Oh, he would have made them all, or he would have become Mr. WCW and then, made them all his underlings. He would have had Booker T, like, get him coffee and stuff. But
Oh,
it didn't happen. So, because he was,
no, thankfully.
and it's, you know what? It's so funny because it's like, we're like, oh, it would have been so bad. It was already bad, but I feel like Triple H would have made it worse. Like how much worse could how much worse could that fucking thing? Anyway, we have time for that.
Yes, there will be some time.
We'll get there. All right. This match was atrocious. This is Goldust versus Crush. Um, this was by far the worst match of the show. Rest holds, rest holds, rest holds. This is also in the era, and Mankind did this too, where Mankind and Goldust give these interviews with Jim Ross where they kind of break character and talk about their real self. And this was the catalyst for Mankind's face turn. The Goldust one reveals that he hasn't talked to his father since he left WCW, and he talks about Goldust as a character. They're already like breaking character. He wishes Dusty was proud of him. There's a lot of talk about Dusty, um, and which almost at the time led me think, is Dusty showing up like as a heel? But they don't do anything with it. And I think the problem with Goldust right here is that he's basically Dustin Rhodes now wrestling. He's not
Yes,
Dust. He's not doing anything that Goldust does, but he's still dressed like a fucking idiot.
yes.
And he's having boring matches. What did you think of these interviews with Goldust and Mankind? I thought the Mankind one was good. The Goldust one was kind of stupid.
I think the gold. I think it was weird for them to do them both at the same time, but I guess they just didn't have the time. They're both like kind of turns like that. I think Goldust. Maybe I don't know if this was going on at the time. Maybe Dusty Rhodes' contract was coming to an end, and maybe they thought they could grab him. Of course, WCW grabs him, and things transpire shortly after for Dusty. But yeah, it's another weird breaking WWE rule from what we're not used to today. We're talking about somebody who's not there and putting them in a part of their story, and Dusty's not there, so there's no payoff for that. I think it was just a way to humanize Goldust and turn him face. Despite or he's Dustin slash Goldust, and then that gets much weirder too. The match though, the match had me feel like I was a big Crush fan growing up. And the past two matches, past two shows that we've seen, I was like, oh my God, was this guy just never good? And I just liked him because I was 8.
Yeah,
And that kind of bums me out. But he's also just kind of floating around with this jailbird storyline and not
I
a good
mean,
match.
I kind of feel like they wanted to give Goldust a match because of the because of everything going on Raw with his storyline. But man, like this was the wrong match. I mean,
Was
you had the
Savio
bottom.
Vega hurt? Like Savio Vega's a good wrestler, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Put Savio in there.
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe Crush was like, maybe, well, Crush is also Undertaker's boy. Maybe Undertaker's like, Crush, you get to pay him.
Maybe.
Yeah, I
But
want to
so
be.
is Savio.
This was just a bad match. And this
Yeah.
is if Goldust is not going to wrestle like Goldust, just make him Dustin Rhodes again. Like that's my thing. He's not doing anything that Goldust did, and he's kissing his wife, and Vince is laughing, and he's acting like a family man, but he's still. I just think like when they turned Goldust's face and basically had him act like Dustin Rhodes, that was the end of the character. Like, I'm not saying don't turn him face, but he should still be Goldust. He should still
Yeah.
be weirdo.
I think it's a lesson they learn later on when he
Mhm.
comes back multiple times. But at that time, it was funny thing that match even on the show because my brother watched some of it with me and he was like, "Oh, so who? I don't remember who qualifies in this match." And I was like, "Nobody. This is just a match to have." And he was like, "Oh God!" Like it was just like, "Why this one? Was there no? Was there nothing else?"
There
Who's
was
the
a
Intercontinental Champion? That's Owen. Was he?
Owen who's in the six man. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
why not
Okay.
do
Where's the
Owen?
cruiser? Where's the light heavyweight people? Bring them back out.
They're not there yet.
Yeah,
They're coming.
okay.
Taka Shinoku is still in
I'm
Japan.
mixing up my timelines.
Yeah, yeah. You can't, you know. So the next two promos I really enjoyed. Psycho Sid and Legion of Doom cut a great promo. It's very 80s, very everything I love about wrestling. These two guys are just screaming and yelling and going, "Where?" And it's really awesome. And I wish these three were more of a unit throughout history. I don't know. I like these three together. I like Sid with the Legion of Doom. What do you think?
I mean, it's classic, all three of them. Like that promo. That's another one I watched with him, and he Hawk says something like Hawk skipping a jump. He says something really
He says,
corny.
"Diddly squat."
Yeah, that dilly squat is what he says, and like my brother was like, I mean, like kind of hurts his cool factor, but also, would you say something if Hawk said something corny? Would you call him out on it, or would you let this dangerous man just say it because you don't want to get your shit kicked out of it? Let him say all the delete squats he wants. He's
This
Hawk.
is what, this is what wrestling needs: more roided out guys screaming nonsense. Because when you
That's what
believe it,
that was.
listen, people still talk about "I've got half the brain you do,"
Yeah.
which because Sid screams it with conviction. "I've got half the brain you do." Like we need more guys just screaming. I don't need any more like Adam Page. Like, oh, I have anxiety. No, I need Sid to be like, shut up with your anxiety.
You
I don't
fat
got
bald
time
headed
to go to
little
the
oaf.
therapist.
I mean, that'd be a great promo. The two of them against each other. I don't know about the match, but the promo off, I would love to see.
Yeah,
But
like
no,
you
it
need
was exactly how you described it.
Powerhouse Hobbs should take the shut. Somebody did a Sid impression of where Sid says "shut up," and it's really funny. Actually, it's just this. You just need a guy who like seems like he commits incest every day and also beats up people at a bar. You just
Or,
need to get off that vibe on TV, and we got money,
well,
which is
maybe
what
not the incest part, but yes,
Sid shit like that. Oh god,
he does a
you know who
great shut
reminds
up.
me of
My favorite
Sid?
one is the WrestleMania 8 with Gene Okerlund.
Oh yeah. But yeah, Sid. By the way, this is said. This is the final Sid pay-per-view match. This is Sid's final WWE. No, it's not. He has one against Heath Slater at Raw at 1000, but this is his final pay-per-view match. He never has one ever again, and then he's dead.
I
So
mean,
end of an era.
yes, and skipping a couple years there.
Yeah,
but, but yes, I mean softball season was in swing, as the
and
rumor
with
went.
and then
So
The Hart Foundation cut a promo, and I do think that the promos on this side are helped out a lot by Jim Neidhart. Jim Neidhart's a pretty good promo. People don't give him enough credit for that, but he adds a lot to the group just by talking. He's not the best in the ring, but he adds a lot by talking. What do you think of the Hart Foundation promo?
no, I thought it was good. I think we're starting to see like the Hart Foundation form as the five group this time, not just a trio. And they're establishing them as a threat and as like a unit. So
Mhm.
it was good. It's good to see both promos back to back. Like you said, they were good, especially after a Goldust Crush match, which was not good.
Not good. So now we get to the six-man tag. It's the Hart Foundation versus the Legion of Doom and Psycho Sid. The Hart Foundation guys have their Bret Hart jackets, which is awesome. And Sid and Legion of Doom are just Sid and Legion of Doom. I have to say, so far on this show, this is the best matchup we've seen. It's old school six-man tag. It's the way a six-man tag should be. Everyone gets a shine spot. Everyone gets to show off. Um, I really enjoyed it. Shockingly, Sid is the one who's pinned. I guess it's because they didn't believe in him anymore. Sid gets pinned, and then that's it. We never see him again. I guess that's why he got pinned because they still had plans for Hawk and Animal. But yeah, Sid is pinned, and that's it. What'd you think of this match? I loved it. I thought this was like 80s action, but like in the best way possible. What did you think?
I think it's one of those matches that shows that separates the pros and the up and comers because you got nothing but pros in there. Whether you like Sid or not, everyone
Mhm.
there is a pro. They know their role, they know their spots, and they know how to get a crowd as hype, as hard as that was to get that crowd hype. They know how to get a crowd invested into a match. And like you said, the most shocking part was Sid taking that pinfall clean, pretty relatively clean, off of a
Mhm.
top rope sunset flip, flying sunset flip, which is something that, as big as he is, should be able to kick out of with ease, even if it's Owen Hart. But it established the Hart Foundation as a threat. They just beat a former world champion and tag team champions, and three tough guys, pretty again definitively. So I thought it did its purpose.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was shocked how good it was because I was like, oh my god, this show is so bad. And then this match happened, and Sid saved the day, and to be rewarded, he was banished, never seen from again. So there you go. Uh,
Exactly.
Now we move on because none of this matters. The only thing that matters is Triple H. So Mankind gives first of all they show Austin's victory speech from a year ago, which I think they're starting to realize what a pivotal moment they had there. You know, even though
They're
he's not where he's going to be, but he's on
they're
his way.
starting to revise the history of that Austin 316 was said, and now everything is roses. This was the beginning of that.
Yeah, because the reality is he cuts that promo and they don't do anything with him for months. So
Yes.
that's the reality. So Mankind talks about that his neck hurts. I just can't wait to be king. He quotes the Lion King. And Vince has a big goofy grin. Ha 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 ha. So now we do Hunter Hearst Helmsley and Mankind. And let me say, I didn't listen to Hunter's fucking Hall of Fame speech. But if Hunter doesn't basically say, I would be nowhere without Mick Foley dying for me over the course of 5 fucking years, I don't know. If you don't fucking blow Mick Foley, Hunter, I don't know who you're gonna thank. Because this guy basically dies to get Hunter Hearst Helmsley over in this match. Because let's go back to 1997. Nobody saw Hunter Hearst Helmsley as a threat. Nobody saw Hunter Hearst Helmsley as someone who could beat the shit out of anyone. And Mankind, who's been beating up Undertaker, who's been bearing Undertaker alive, lets Hunter beat him like a fucking dog in this match and makes this guy. This is the first time we ever even get a hint that Triple H could beat up anyone like this. And what did you think of this match?
I think this is when the card starts obviously start to really turn around. I think it's
Mhm.
a good match. It's weird to call it a double turn because Mankind's the one that turns, but I guess in the eyes of Triple H, as a competitor, this is when you see like, oh, this guy is actually serious. So between him and you said thank Mick Foley, he has to thank Mick Foley and China. I can't
Oh yeah,
remember the
yeah.
speech. It was so long. but I believe he thanks China. I believe he thanks Mick too. I don't remember. But
Mhm.
this match, like the way Mick Foley like sells, goes through tables, gets his ass beat, fights back, like barely tries to kick out of things, and it not only establishes mankind as a sympathetic face, but it's now established Triple H in China as a threat to whatever's next for them. And it all starts here, and they did a really good job with it.
Yeah, and like China also, yes, China interferes a lot, and they're seen as a double threat, and Mankind sells for both of them. And then even when Hunter wins, Hunter gets the crown and the the cape and, and the scepter and all that bullshit. And I feel like a year before this, he would have wore it and gave a speech like, "Oh, hello, I'm the king of Connecticut."
Yeah, yeah,
But they have him just use the crown and the scepter to beat the shit out of Mankind more, which is great. I will tell you, this is my thing with Hunter, and we're gonna see this for years. When Hunter goes over. He leaves nothing on the table for you to think his opponent was any sort of threat or can make any sort of comeback. He will get, if you're going to put Hunter Hearst Helmsley over, he's going to get every last drop out of it. He's not giving you anything. And I do think some of the newer guys could learn from that because it's selfish, but look where it got him, but also at the same time it's very obnoxious. But hey, man, if you tell this guy we're gonna make you look like a monster over Mick Foley, he's gonna take every inch of that. You know?
yeah. He absolutely did. I forgot about. I mean, I know we just watched it, but I remember him winning as a kid. I forgot he takes the scepter and the crown and immediately just attacks Mick Foley, which is crazy. Like just to think about, especially with how they treated the King of the Ring and all the gimmicky stuff. He just throws that right out the window. Which
Yeah.
wow,
He throws it. He just gets rid of it. And yeah. So this is the start. This is the start of something else with Triple H. Where we're get no we're this is where he becomes Triple H because around this time they just start calling him Triple H. They never
yes,
call him Hunter Hearst Helmsley. So this is he's slowly morphing, and this is the 2 year evolution of him.
yeah.
And you better get used to it because he's not going anywhere. I mean, bro, I just can you imagine? Can you imagine 2035? He's still walking out at WrestleMania like 51. Like, can you imagine that's our future? That might be our future.
I mean, I think as long as he's healthy, he's gonna be
I
he's
don't
gonna
want,
be the one interesting. No, I mean you want him to be healthy, of course.
no, I don't know about that either. I really hope this Brock Lesnar. I really hope like Janelle Grant reveals some new things, which like gets everybody fired. I don't know. I don't know.
It's
I
about
say that to get somebody even worse in charge. It's gonna really nickel and dime. They're gonna be like, if they were willing to pay 30 for ESPN, why don't they just pay 60?
I
That's
think
gonna be
yeah. I think one positive with Triple H is that he is a wrestling fan, and not that Nick Khan isn't. I believe Nick Khan
the
is a fan too, but these people are more business oriented than they are wrestling. So Triple H keeps the wrestling in, whether you like it or not. He keeps the wrestling part in for some of it. I think if he was out and they did not get another wrestler or wrestling person in there, it would definitely be just like goodbye Johnny Gargano. So these guys are gone. If you're not making profit, they're getting you out immediately. So
Yeah,
hopefully that never happens, but we'll see.
we'll see. So now we recap the Austin Shawn Michaels storyline, which I have seen the match where Austin and Michaels win the title. I do
Yeah,
like the fact that Steve Austin is so obsessed with getting revenge on Bret Hart that he abandons Michael after winning the belt to attack Bret Hart. And I like the fact that because Austin's such a dick, it causes problems with them. I think they should have taken a page out of this with CM Punk, LA Knight versus The Vision.
yeah.
CM Punk should be this mad at Seth Rollins. Like he should be attacking. You know, they did an angle where Kevin Owens attacked Cody Rhodes in the parking lot last year.
Yes, yeah.
Punk should be attacking Seth Rollins at everything he does. Like there should be a thing where CM Punk attacks him when he's picking up his daughter from preschool. Like it should be that. It should be that intense because the CM Punk I know from the 2011, even the AEW CM Punk would not have stood for being made to look like a buffoon at SummerSlam. And he's not. He's just like he's doing the John Cena I'm just happy to be here bullshit.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand. But if CM Punk kept abandoning LA Knight to attack Seth, then it would make the issues between them much more believable. You
Yeah,
know?
no, I think that would have been a good idea. CM Punk, especially with a feud that's been going on for 2 years almost between
Mhm.
CM Punk and Seth Rollins. I think that would have been a good that the way you're saying it would be good. And then you could have Punk LA Knight eventually because right now I mean I think WWE feels like they took the month off across the board. Raw is not very interesting. SmackDown's not very interesting. NXT also not very interesting. It feels like the AAA. I mean, it was fun, but okay. It just feels like they took the month off creatively,
Yeah.
and they're just kind of doing stuff to get to September, or we're in another like Judgment Day vortex where we're gonna get this feud until War Games in different variations. So then the War Games match is either the Bloodline reunited again against Rollins and I guess Solo's Bloodline, or some type of Punk Bloodline group against Rollins. I don't know. It's just been a very dull month, uh, which is usually reserved for September, but like post SummerSlam has been very dull across the board.
Yeah. And with the John Cena thing, the way they ended it, I don't even expect. I almost feel like the Seth Rollins vision, Paul Heyman thing is Seth Rollins is going to come out one week and be like, "Yeah, I don't want this faction anymore." And Paul Heyman, you're not a very nice guy, so I'm just gonna go on my own. And Punk, why don't we team up? And Punk's gonna be like, "Sure."
Yeah, you can do that now. You can do
Yeah.
that.
Like, yeah.
John Cena broke that rule of, hey, this storyline's stupid. I don't want to do this anymore.
Seemingly, yeah. That's why, like, I that kind of, it was like a 1, 2, 3, 4 punch. It was John Cena just giving up on the heel turn. It was Hulk Hogan dying. It was Brock Lesnar coming back, and it was the ESPN deal that has made me completely check out from all wrestling. Modern. But even like when I
Yeah.
watch old stuff, there's like this kind of like a pale over
Yeah.
it. You
I
know,
think I'll give them the pass for the heel turn because it just wasn't. I don't say it wasn't work. What was left. If you're not
I,
whatever plan you had with the Travis Scott Iraq thing clearly failed.
Mhm.
So John Cena being called out on his bullshit, which was a small seed that they did plant because Randy Orton's like that's not you, and Cody Rhodes like that's not you, and R-Truth was like that's not you. So eventually, it could have been a bigger moment, but eventually he's like that's not me. So
I still feel it deserved a big like Cody Rhodes should have been getting the shit beat out of him by like Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker and Cena comes out like it should have been like a moment where Cena decides to help Cody.
yes, I
Rather
do.
than
Yes, that would have been yeah.
like you owe the audience that. I mean, that's the same problem I think with when Hogan turns face after the NWO is he just one day just gives up being Hollywood Hogan. And it's like, no, you need to like help Sting with something. Like you need to
Yeah.
like extend your hand to DDP or Goldberg and be like, I'm here to help you. Like it needs to have that moment. And I don't know. I kind of feel like you're teaching people not to be invested in things and it's
Yeah.
arrogant.
I feel like
And
they
we'll
did a similar thing actually with the bloodline. Like Jey Uso got so much emotional abuse from Roman Reigns for them to now just be eating together because they teamed up at Survivor Series once when Roman did never really apologize. Now that Roman has nobody that have his back, he's like happier and now they're family again. And it's like, oh no, we solved it over Christmas or whatever bullshit. No, you invested in this storyline for 4+ years, one
don't
segment. I'm not saying it has to be weekly. One segment where like Roman Reigns is a little bit humbled. And
Yeah,
then
and like you could have like you don't want to have wrestling on the show anyway. You could have like killed 20 minutes on a Raw last month with Jey Uso being like, "I want you to apologize to me,"
yeah,
and making the apology, and then when he does, you get a big pop, and then the fucking Twitter guys are like, "What a moment! Triple H is the GOAT. They should win an Emmy." All this bullshit because they want to go on. My thing with fucking Triple H and Paul Heyman and these motherfuckers, they want to act like they're writing The Sopranos. They want to be like, oh, we should be getting Emmys for this. And it's like you don't even know how to end the story. You don't like it's the equivalent of Tony Soprano at the final episode of Sopranos being like, I don't really feel like being in the mob anymore. And the mob is like, okay. And he just goes and like works at a fucking shoe store with his wife's peg. Like it's like
there you
no,
go.
you don't actually end the story, you fucking idiots. Like
Yeah.
you know?
No, I mean we're still in the third inning, so
Yeah, that's their excuse. We're in the third inning. Go fuck you. All right. Well, you know
it's a
what? The
really
Hart
long baseball
Foundation's in the
game.
second inning. I can't wait to see how that plays out. All right.
Yeah, let's get
It's been
back. Sorry.
second inning for fucking Bret Hart's faction. You know,
Yes, you're a little frozen for me. I don't know if
Kyle, you there?
yeah, I'm here. I don't know
Killer
if it's
Kyle.
on my yeah, right here. I think we froze.
You froze. Yeah, but it's okay. It's fine. The
Okay.
Hart Foundation's in a 30-year second inning. Your picture's frozen, but I just used the audio. Can you hear me?
Yeah, your picture. Oh, here we go. We're back. Your picture was frozen too. That's how I was like, oh,
It was Triple H. He heard us criticize him too much.
you're too much creative right now.
So Bret Hart comes out. He's supposed to do commentary. He doesn't get to do it because he's too much of a dick. But he comes out with the
The
Hart Foundation.
table's also broken.
Table's broken, yeah, so they cut a little angle. And they don't rebuild. That's the one thing about TKO is they rebuild the tables. They're like, no, we need to fucking get these super
Slim Jim
soaker bases.
tables. Yeah.
Yeah. He introduces the Art Foundation. He then issues a challenge for In Your House Canadian Stampede. He wants any five WWF wrestlers to come face him, and that's the main event. I thought this was a great promo by Bret Hart. I love this faction. This to me is the perfect faction because everyone has a different strength. I don't like three people factions. I think a faction should be four or more because then it really does feel like an army. You can also spread out the faction throughout the card, you know, like in
Yeah.
single matches and stuff. So like, there's a lot you can do with a 4 or 5 person faction, and I think this is one of the best factions ever. You have the old veteran in Jim Neidhart. You have the world champion in Bret Hart. You have the all-around technician in Owen. You have the powerhouse in Bulldog, and then you have the guy who just fucks around, who can just fuck around, fuck with everybody with Brian Pillman. You know?
Yeah. No, it's a perfect faction. I don't there's
Yeah.
wish they were able to do more and be around longer, but we all know what happens there. But and you mentioned the jackets before. I wanted one of those jackets so badly. I know they made them
I
of
have
Chalkline.
I have
Yeah,
my jacket.
yeah,
Yeah,
Chalkline
it's
made
off my
one eventually. But I thought they were so cool. I remember the Jax figures had them. Although it's hard to get Owen's vest off because he had the hair was like holding it down or whatever. But I thought it was the coolest group.
Yeah, it's really like because on his own Jim Neidhart is like, oh, Jim Neidhart, but then you put him here and you're like, hey, it's fucking Jim Neidhart, you know?
Mm.
And man, it's a really cool faction. It's much better than the Vision, even though Braun Breaker's cool. But all right. So Austin cuts a promo about Shawn Michaels and he says, I'm gonna beat the shit out of Shawn. And he goes, well, I'm not gonna beat the shit out of you. I'm gonna teach you a lesson. Because then he realizes, I like the fact that they establish. By the way, I like the fact that they're establishing here that they make extra money because they're tag champs.
Yes.
So Austin doesn't want to totally cripple Shawn Michaels because they can keep making money as tag champs, which I like that. I like that.
Smart. Yeah.
That's a good, and they don't do that anymore. They don't tell you like, hey, not only Rhea Ripley wants the belt because she's gonna also make extra money, but I like that
I think
because
we're also in this world where you don't want. We have a very, and I'm liberal left leaning, but anytime you talk about someone making more money than you, they're immediately the worst person ever. So they
oh
don't
yeah,
want to they don't want to remind people that Rhea Ripley would be in the six figure
Twitter fans,
salary.
Twitter fans will know. You mean the headbangers aren't making any money? That's not right. Anyway,
Exactly.
so Austin walks in the ring, and here's another thing. And I don't know if they knew where they were going with this, but Vince McMahon says, "I don't know why he's so popular, but he is." Keeps saying that, and I'm like, I'm wondering if because Vince Russo right now, I'm wondering if Russo knows I eventually want Vince to be a character because Vince just kind of accepts when you're popular. He just is like, ah! And this is the only time he's like, I don't know why they like this guy, and it's dropping little breadcrumbs of what's going to happen. And I really like that little touch because Austin's walking the ring. He looks like the fucking man. Vince is just always happy go lucky. All right, ha ha ha. And suddenly he's like, I don't know why you like this guy. You know?
Yeah. No, you're right. I think I mean I credit to Russo if that was like the very, very slow burn of a Mr. McMahon. Russo and Vince feels a slow burn of Mr. McMahon. But I also saw this and the matches because you said last month was a test. Vince could be putting this guy, the people's guy, up
Yeah.
against his guys, Shawn Michaels, who he won so world champion, Undertaker, who's on his summer of championship run right now, summer of Taker. Maybe he's just trying to see if Stone Cold will sink or swim against his top guys before actually giving him the ball. Because
Mhm.
that was another thing I got from this match, and at least from moments like that.
Yeah.
Like with the
So,
fans side with Shawn Michaels, sorry, over Stone Cold more than maybe I could still make the Austin 316 money, but not give him the title. Like similar to Yeet. You can make all the money off of Yeet, but now Yeet doesn't need to be champion.
yes, because the fans do go nuts for Sean. Women give him roses. Um,
The
the,
young
the
child.
love HBK in this time.
Yeah.
Um, And then we get to the match, Shawn Michaels versus Austin. The one thing I will say about this match, which he doesn't, he's 2 months away from that neck injury, which changed his style forever. But
Mm-hmm.
man, he is very technical in this match. He is the great thing about the Austin character is at this point in the '97 era, he's not just going to pick kick and punch. If you're a person who wants to wrestle, who can wrestle like Shawn Michaels is in '97, he's going to wrestle you. He's going to
Mm-hmm.
have you. Like I'm not just here to like beat you. I'm also here to like put you in holds and outmaneuver you because that's what I'm a great wrestler and I'm a badass. And these guys have a great match, a great technical match. Very different than the WrestleMania 14 match. I personally think this match smokes the 14 match. The 14 match was good for what it is. It's basically we need 20 minutes to let everyone know Austin's the next Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, this is a little bit different. One of the moments that everyone says was unplanned, but I think both guys played it off beautifully. Was a mentally challenged fan, an autistic fan, I should say, falls over the railing.
Mm-hmm.
One breaks character, but doesn't break character to help him. And while
Yeah.
he's helping him, Austin attacks him. And then I think Sean and him do a little. I think they do. I think they call it in the ring. They do a little segment
Yeah.
when he gives Austin the finger, but then Austin powders out like a heel, and
Yeah.
everyone's able to help the fan get up the aisle. The mom comes out, which the mom looked very concerned. I don't know what happened to the kids. The kid keeps falling. He might be having an attack or whatever. But the way
Mm-hmm.
the guys helped this kid without breaking character, I thought was this is why these two are like two of the best in the world in 1997. What do you think of the little moment with the kid? I thought that was a cool moment.
I think that was really well done. I didn't know if Austin knew at first. I know Austin came over and then attacked him, and then maybe, like you said, they talked out something in the ring. Because then Austin, then Shawn Michaels, like fends Austin off, does the bird, and then goes helps out the child. I mean, I think it shows a lot of character for both of them, not just in the ring, not just their in ring characters, but they're like wrestling outside of the ring too. To do that, I thought it was really, really, really sweet, really nice, and it really
Yeah.
helped the match. It helps the match. It helps you like define who these two people are.
Yes. And then like after the kid is like help up the aisle, Austin kind of holds up the ropes for
Yeah,
Michael.
yeah,
You're like, and I was like, I don't trust you. And Austin like,
yeah,
well,
exactly.
they get back to the match, and I just feel like nowadays they would. I just feel like nowadays they would both of them would break character and help the kid, and then Twitter would be like, "Whoa, they're so wholesome," and I'm like, "No, like,
They would, you know what would happen because it was happening during Triple A. Someone else's camera would be out, and they'd be like, look at them like working together and talking about this. Look, say what you want about Triple H, but there's a video going around about him and the woman, the man, the character, the Exotico character, Pimpy, that came out. I don't know if you watched the Triple H thing.
I didn't watch it.
Okay, well, there's
A
they have
hard.
like a they have like a drag character,
Mhm.
the Exoticos as they're called, and one of them came out for a battle royal, like their version of the Royal Rumble, and someone had the camera on Triple H, and they're just like, "Look how disgusted he is with the gay stuff." I was like, they booked it, like he knows his character's coming out, like
Yeah,
he
I
just
saw that.
he just has his stoic ass Triple H face. That's it. Like that's not.
Watching a show and taking
Yeah.
it doesn't look like he's this. Yeah, it's like, what do you want this guy to do? Jump up and start dancing? Like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I do. That would be awesome. But Tony Khan might do that. That's not a diss at Tony Khan. Tony Khan's just a very excited man.
I
But
feel like Tony Khan bought like a company, and this is like the second show that he produced. He's gonna watch it like my friend was with Dave Meltzer in the booth in the box for one of the AW pay-per-views, and he doesn't want to talk. He just watches like a hawk and he takes notes.
yeah,
And well, he actually secretly owns AW, but he's not even like the owner. He's not. So yeah, I don't know what they wanted Triple H to do. I'm sure Triple H claps at the end of the matches and stuff, but I think most of the time he's watching, at least I would, with a laser focus
yeah.
because
He's like, who are we gonna keep? Who do we get? Who's the fans responding to? Um,
Mhm.
and I don't want to be like seem like a Triple H bootlicker, but like to just have we just have this problem with the world. They just have a camera out and you get this like small moment of anything. It doesn't even have to be wrestling. And then immediately everyone just assumes you were the greatest or worst person ever because everyone's obsessed with this like 10-second clip. And he has his faults and you can criticize him for many of his faults, but that wasn't one of them.
Yeah, man, it's just people look for. There's a lot of reasons to hate this guy. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not like every waking moment is he's not being a fucking piece of shit. All right, sometimes
Yeah.
he's eating an omelet, and sometimes he's watching wrestling. Like, just fucking let the guy watch the fucking show, right? Like,
Yeah,
leave him,
yeah.
like.
I don't know,
I,
maybe he's saying terrible things while eating the omelet. We don't know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we kind of know that Triple H is kind of probably like a horrible person when the doors close, but I don't know. You just can't constantly judge everyone, every. That's when I.
Yeah.
That's when I lose interest. That's when I lose interest in like. That's when I. Yes, that's when I become. Oh, you know what? Triple H isn't that bad. Like, just fucking. I'm not gonna hate on you 24/7. I'm not gonna be like, look at the way Triple H lies in bed. He clearly hates women. The way he's lying in the bed, falling asleep, like he's busting. This is the guy who beats his fucking daughter. Like, no, he should let him
No.
go to sleep.
It's like the Homer. I don't know how familiar you are with The Simpsons, but the Homer sexual harassment episode.
Mm-hmm. Oh
You've
yeah,
seen that one? Yeah. So,
wow. What was that one again?
Homer Badman, he grabs a piece of candy off a young college babysitter's ass. Yes.
Yes.
And then like their cameras are watching him 24/7. And they're like, well, our cameras, we have these new technology cameras, and that's clearly Homer Simpson in that oven stewing in his own juices, like things like that. It's like not even close to what's going on.
That's what they did to Triple H watching the match. That's what they
That's what
did.
they do to everything. But yes, Triple H was stewing in his own juices, I guess, during that moment.
Well, Triple H is doing something. All right. So this was a great match. They do a they start attacking the refs because they're so into it. Uh,
Yeah.
Refs double disqualify them. I would not have done this finish. It does get over how crazy these two guys are, and obviously, like at the end when it's all done, they're kind of like already beat each other in a match, but now we'll go back to being uneasy allies, right? We got all our
Yeah.
frustrations. I don't know. I wouldn't have either one of them pinned one of the other because it's not time for that yet. I don't know. Maybe I would have had like Jim Neidhart or British Bulldog attack them, but I don't know. Like it was good. It was good until the finish, but I really do enjoy it. It was definitely the best match of the show. But these guys,
Yeah.
what did you think?
That was one of the best matches in the show. I thought that it was gonna be a Heart Foundation like Smoz. That's what I thought. And the double fin, the knocking out all the refs. I guess neither person could lose. So fine. I didn't really love it, but fine. I think a Heart Foundation, like say Brian Pillman attacks Stone Cold and Owen Hart attacks Shawn Michaels. They have their person that they're going to go after, and then Austin and Michaels remember what's important. We got to take out the Heart Foundation. Hindsight, of course, that's what I would have done, but it was fine. Wasn't the end of the world for either person, and then we move on. I do. There's a moment where Shawn Michaels whipped Stone Cold off the ropes, and he moves so fast, like Braun Breaker fast. And I was like,
Oh,
Jesus, like he's like I couldn't believe it. Who I was watching there.
dude, first of all, Shawn Michaels wasn't injured. He lied. That he was never injured. But Shawn
Never
Michaels
heard.
is so good. 97, I think, is his best year because even the screw job match, that's such a better match from WrestleMania 12 up until the actual screw job. Like,
Yes, that is something that people don't remember. It's
no,
actually a good fight, and then they have a bit of a match, and then the screw job happens.
yeah, like if that match went another 5 minutes and it had like a real finish, I think people would talk about that as one of the best Survivor Series matches of all time. But nobody ever like actually talks about that match as a match. But his matches with Undertaker, this match, he has a match with Mankind, I think on Raw that's fucking fire. It's on one of Sean's DVDs.
Hmm.
His Sid match earlier in the year is pretty good. So like this is like I think my favorite year of his. He if he had never come back this run from like here to WrestleMania 14, that would have been like that. What a way to go out, you know?
Yeah, oh, I agree. And we managed to come back and have, yeah, arguably an even better run.
Yes.
Depending on who you ask.
Well, some people on Twitter claim he wasn't a good worker after 2002, which, you know, no.
Don't get me started.
Okay, so let's the main event. So the storyline:
Yeah.
Paul Bearer is blackmailing Undertaker with some info, and Undertaker has taken Paul Bearer back as his manager. Farouk now has the opportunity to be the first African American WWF champion. Now, he was the first African American world champion in wrestling. It counts. And now they acknowledge him as the first in all because like, they've absorbed WCW's title reign. Um, Farouk gets a promo, and he has one of the greatest lines I've ever heard. Undertaker, don't worry about Paul Bear's blackmail. Worry about this blackmail, which I thought was a fucking fire line. Did you like that line? I thought that line
I
was the
did.
best.
I did like it. No
Then
notes.
Doc Hendricks interviews Undertaker and Paul Heyman, and I like what Doc Hendricks does here. He tells Taker everyone loves him. It doesn't matter what the secret is, and it's like, well, what if the secret is he's like Bill Cosby and women? I mean, that's what people with well,
Oh.
no, to me, they would actually give him a fucking like, thank you so much. Like, what if I'm Bill Cosby? And Paul Bearer tells him to shut up, and they're gonna go in the ring, and then like Vince McMahon. I think Vince McMahon does this because I've just realized it's like, yeah, what if the secret is like Undertaker like murdered a woman? Dr. Hendricks speaks for himself, not for the entire WWE. I do like the intention of Doc Hendricks breaking character to be like, dude, like we like you, like don't let this guy abuse you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like trying to reach to him as a human, but yeah, you do cast a wide net. It doesn't matter what it is. We're all gonna be your fans. It's like, well, you know.
No, well, we don't know what it is yet, so
Bill Cosby women. Vince is like, you do? Ah, you know what? You're the new head of creative. I love it.
no, no.
Can you teach me how to do that?
That's how this whole thing started. No, terrible. No, good promos between the both of them. This Undertaker story. I mean, I think it's fascinating that the storyline is like, hey, we haven't had a black champion yet in our 50-year history. Here we go. Maybe this time. And that's like the action something they would never do today. They don't even have
I know
black people on the card. But now that Naomi's out, we're definitely not getting any black people on the card. Anyway,
that
they
was that
they
was that was the black person was pushing. It's not my fault that she got pregnant. Yeah,
that's
factory.
the fact that they acknowledge that this could be it. Like, hey, we're finally gonna have this happen. Almost like, hey, good for us, but also, why has it taken so long? But look, it
Maybe
wasn't gonna be
Hunter,
Coco Beware, but I don't know.
maybe Hunter knew that no, he was pregnant, and then he gave her the belt so he could have plausible deniability. Like, see, I pushed a black
It's
person.
possible. I mean, in the fans' eyes, the women are fine. The women are doing just fine. Well, now Bianca and Naomi are out, and everybody hates Jade for whatever reason. But uh it's the men that always had the issue. Thinking of last week's thing, the Ricochet Logan Paul was the last time a black guy had a match on a singles pay-per-view. I think we said Miz Snoop Dogg.
But is Ricochet black? He's not like
Yes.
no.
He may be mixed, but he's still black. He's a pure 100% black person. We don't got to go into that. Then The Rock's whole
I,
run never counts.
I thought he was
But
Latino and something. I didn't know. Okay.
nah, he might be mixed, but I think he's 100. He's definitely black. He is a black male.
He did cuckold. He did get cuckold. Remember Logan Paul like blew kisses to his girlfriend after beating him.
Yeah,
So
like it wasn't a very positive. I guess the last positive one is Snoop Dogg because he's
Snoop
on
Dogg.
top, and then Ricochet lost to Logan Paul, and now he is where he is in with the Gates of Agony. But
So oh yeah, I forgot
back to
about
King
that.
of the Ring. Yeah.
So back to King of the Ring. Farouk, you man, I like Farouk. I do. Farouk is a legend to me, but this match ain't it. This is just a very okay match. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's great. It's great he had this opportunity. It's great that they were giving him a title shot. It's great that he's a great talker. He had a great line. But in the ring, it's just very slow. It's just very boring. Um, it's not a very good match. Undertaker wins, which I think everyone kind of thought was going to happen anyway. But let's first of all, we'll get to the post match in a second. What did you think of the match itself?
It was there are a couple cool moments like Undertaker doing a crazy ass dive off the top rope, but yeah, like you said, I think if we had Farouk from even a year, 2 years before in the WWE, you would have got a different Farouk. I think he was starting to wind down. At least, I mean, he still wrestled for a considerably long time, but as a singles main event guy, I think this was it. You know, he's
Yeah,
the Ron Simmons that you saw in '92 was not the Ron Simmons you were seeing in '97 for multiple reasons, and it sucked. And there was just no, since they were doing Summer of Taker, there was no shot of him winning. He loses in a really stupid way. Like this, the Nation Domination just start fighting on the outside, which is just like, why would y'all? Why now? And then he just gets scooped up for a tombstone. Like he can't. He doesn't even fight out of it. Just like whoop, boom, okay. When he was pretty dominant for most of the match, so it didn't really help the Nation either. But yeah, it was
like
it was it.
Paul. I did like in the match. Paul every now and then would leave a comment like, "Come on, just do this. How hard could it be to beat this guy?" Like he's not. He's like Undertaker's manager, but he's also like it's just shitting on the Undertaker. Like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah, he's so mean to him.
yeah. So Undertaker wins. The Nation attacks. He takes out Savio and Crush, and we're thinking the pay per view's over. And this part to me was really well done
Hmm.
because Undertaker, I'm done. I won the match. Pay per view's over. And Paul Bear's like, no, I want you to attack Farouk. And and this, I think this is great because it makes Undertaker look like a really great baby. He's like, I don't want to attack Farouk. Like it's over. I beat him. He goes,
Yeah.
no, Farouk. So he choke slams him. He goes to leave. Paul Bearer is like, I want you to do it again. Paul Bearer's body language. Paul Bearer, by the way, watching all this old wrestling, was a very underrated non-wrestling performer. He was
Hmm.
very good at all these little things. He would do, like he was. My thing with Paul Bearer is like when his job was to stand there and not move, he was great at that. But when it was time to move, he made that movement count.
Yeah,
You know,
you're right.
here he's given a lot to do this whole show, and he really nails it. He goes, "I want you to do it again." He does it a second time. And then he tells him to do it again. And he keeps threatening him, like, I'm going to reveal what you did to Kane. And he doesn't say that, but that's what he's implying Undertaker. So Undertaker does it a third time. Now Ahmed Johnson comes out. Now, I like this idea of Ahmed Johnson coming to save Farouk. They're enemies, but also, like, I think the connotation I'm assuming is Ahmed is not going to sit there while a black man is just being mercilessly beaten by two white guys.
Yeah,
That's
they're not saying that, but yes.
that's the kind of thing. Like, even though this guy's my enemy, you're not gonna beat the shit out of him while he's helpless. So you can beat him up in the match and whatever, but he's
Yeah,
helpless now. You're just beating
yeah.
him. So Ahmed comes out to save him. Um, Ahmed and Undertaker have a weird interaction. And again, I like the idea behind this. Ahmed is like, don't listen to him, listen to me. Don't listen to him, listen to me. Like, kind of implying like we've been friends and you're just beating the shit out of this guy. And
Yeah.
then it's a Pearl River plunge, which the crowd doesn't pop for. They don't do anything for. They're kind of like weirded out. I
Yeah.
think that Ahmed should have came out when Farouk was up for like the third choke slam, because then
Yeah.
I would have got a face pop. Because I think the crowd is almost like, yeah, stop beating up Farouk. We don't like Farouk, but like it takes too long for him to come out and do that.
Yeah.
And I also think they should have gave Ahmed a mic. So he could have been like, you're not gonna beat this. You're not gonna. He's helpless. You're not gonna beat up a helpless man this much.
Yeah.
I like the intention. I mean, also the way that Ahmed turns heel for trying to help Farouk. Like they make it as a bad thing that he did this. Um, Again, I like all these.
Classic WWE.
Yeah, I like all these ideas on paper and a lot of the execution as well. But I don't know. It's just Ahmed. You're right. Maybe Ahmed just doesn't have it because the idea is good, but the execution is. What do you think of the closing angle?
Saying that I forgot that this happened, so I was like, oh yeah. Then it came back. Like I guess he joins the nation like shortly after. But I think the same thing that you said. He just, even though he hated Farouk, he wasn't gonna let that happen to not just Farouk but a black man.
Mhm.
And Ahmed, unfortunately, one of Ahmed's biggest enemies is his voice, his character work. So you you don't really know what the hell he's saying. So it's kind of hard to. So giving him a mic might have been a problem. And I think the crowd didn't know the rec. They don't want to boo Undertaker, even though Undertaker's in this like has to be a villain role. They don't want to boo the Undertaker, and they don't have the support for Ahmed yet. Well, Ahmed has lost that support because well, we just saw him lose at the beginning of the show. Like, okay, so I think it was a good idea. It could have been executed better, but I think it was a good idea. I also think they didn't know what they wanted to do because they didn't want Undertaker to be full heel, and they didn't
Mm,
want Ahmed to be full heel at least at that moment. So, so
yeah,
the fans don't know what to do. They're just like, why did Ahmed do that? We also can't hear him. Why did he
yeah.
do that and then leave? Then got to find out on Raw.
I think nowadays with like more about police brutality and I think nowadays fans would pick up on the subtext of why Ahmed's running out and they would cheer for him. Like they would pick up on what's going on because it's a little bit more out in the open. I also think social media, like, the way they beat Farouk was, it's really too much like real life and black people suffering. I really like that.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of think pieces.
But a lot of think pieces. But I do think nowadays people would have started cheering Ahmed for coming out because they would have understood the social implications of why Ahmed is suddenly now helping out Farouk, which I don't think. I think a lot of these fans didn't. I think a lot of them didn't understand the reasoning, but we understand the reasoning, and it's the nice, like, kind of undercurrent of reason. I'm not going to let you beat up this helpless black man. I'm just not. I don't care. This guy's
Yeah,
trying to kill me. I'm not going to let you do this.
yeah.
And, um, and that's what a hero should do. But they make it maybe
But
like
he's the villain. That's what
so
they do there in WWE.
Johnson ever did, and they make it a heel turn. So
I mean, that's something that they still do again to this day. Kevin Owens was not wrong with some of the stuff he was talking about with Cody Rhodes, but he's the villain. And
yeah.
this happened with multiple storylines. Somebody's
Well,
not entirely wrong. Drew McIntyre was not wrong, and he's the villain.
well, you know what?
That's how they do it. That's
The real villain is Tony Khan. So
he's fine. He's just a hat. He loves Time Cop. That guy, big Time Cop fan.
that's a good movie to have on when you're doing coke. So that's fine.
Allegedly.
Overall, I don't know. Maybe it's just because of what's going on in the world. I say avoid this show. What do you say?
I think it's not worth. Yeah, you don't really need. If you want to watch one thing, watch Stone Cold Shawn Michaels. Go
Mm-hmm.
out of your way to find that. It's probably gonna be on the vault someday anyway, if it's not there already. Uh, See that match. Like you said, it is a night and day from their WrestleMania 14 match. So you go watch that. Especially Undertaker do a weird ass jump. I guess watch the pay per view, but I think you can start. I think Canadian Stampede. I say this before watching it. You can
Mm-hmm.
start with Canadian Stampede because that's that. At least the main event is good. I remember that. But you could skip the past 2 months of WWE and you won't miss much because this Undertaker stuff's gonna go on for a long time too.
A lot of growing pains on
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
the show. Yeah. All right, let's go over the next 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Kyle here for at least three of them. Next week is Great American Bash 97, DDP versus Macho Man. In 2 weeks, we have In Your House Canadian Stampede, which is the Heart Foundation versus Team America. Then in 3 weeks, we have Bash at the Beach 97, which features Giant and Lex Luger versus Dennis Rodman and Hulk Hogan.
Oh boy. Okay.
And then in 4 weeks, SummerSlam 97, Bret Hart versus Undertaker. And that's when things really get into hyperdrive. What are you excited about?
Um, honestly, both SummerSlam and Rodman. I haven't seen the Rodman stuff since I was a kid, so I'm not saying it's gonna be match of the year, but let's see what happens.
See what happens with Rodman. I mean, I really want to talk about Hulk Hogan when he died, and I was in like a vortex of Hulk Hogan. I think he was filming a movie, so he's not around for like 4 WCW pay-per-views. So like that'll be the next time Hulk Hogan has a match since he's passed away. So it'll be fun to have him to talk about back on the show.
Yeah, yeah, you know me.
Sabu, when Sabu died, it was like months till I got to the next Sabu match, and then by the time I got to the Sabu match, all my like thoughts about him were like not that it was like my enthusiasm was out the window. It was like go on.
Yeah. No, it's been a little while. And this is a big Hogan match. Hogan Rodman was a very big deal at the time.
Yeah, and I think it was like one of the highest grossing matches they did at the time. So hey, listen, and the rest of the card sounds interesting. I think DDP and Kurt Hennig versus Macho Man and Scott Hall, and then the Steiner brothers take on Great Muta and somebody. So that sounds like fun.
Shona, maybe. WCW, and we'll get to it, and we'll probably find out next week. Their undercard used to be, even if they had a shit main event, their undercard was very, very good around this time.
Right now, WCW for me, at least in the pay-per-view game, has been on fire. So this is gonna be a fun show to watch next week. I think Great American Bash 97.
I
So
already
guys,
put a little bit on, and it was Ultimo Dragon versus Psychosis, so I can't wait to watch that.
that'll be fun. So
Yeah.
guys, that's our show. How do you feel? You enjoy being on this journey through 97? You having fun?
I am. I mean, it's some of it, like I said, some of it I remember as a kid, some of it I don't remember. So to see some of it again is really, really cool. Made me reevaluate how I feel about Crush as a performer, unfortunately. But outside of that, it's been fun. It's been fun to talk about this. And the summer of '97, I'm excited to be here for.
Yeah, I'm excited. Guys, that's the show. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe to us. Please follow me on Instagram, Ray Goots Comedy, and also Goots' Wrestling Pod on Instagram. Write us a review, leave a comment on YouTube. There'll be a TikTok clip later on. Leave a comment there. Kyle, what do you got to plug? Give it to us.
That's what I was looking at right now. Hopefully, September 6th is supposed to be our next character select show at the stand. Just waiting on some finalization on that. And if not, you can find us at Character Select Comedy on Instagram. Find me at Keep It 5 Star on Instagram. And yeah, that's it.
That's it. Guys, we'll see you next week. It's back to WCW land with the Great American Bash. We'll see you then.